Welcome to Detroit in Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. We here in Corktown, McShane, Michigan, and Trumbull. We got an all-star cast today. Sheriff Raphael, Washington.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you, Adolph. I'm doing well.
The Ombudsman of Detroit, he ghosted us for a long time.
You can't start off the show telling lies.
Bruce Simpson, this is my guy. How you doing, Bruce?
All right, good to see
Good.
you.
And no question. Allan Lengel from Deadline Detroit, Detroit News, Washington Post, and
the Eagle American.
The Eagle American.
That's Adolph and I were at the high school paper. He was the editor. I was the sports editor.
Okay.
No question. Now we got a lot to talk about. Sheriff, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
How's the campaign going?
Going well. We're out here fighting a good fight. We're out here being seen everywhere, being seen working. Not talking about what we want to do, talking about what we're doing for the community.
And what are you doing? County. What are you doing?
We're out here recruiting. We're out here answering and dealing with quality of life issues for various municipalities. We're out helping those municipalities and law enforcement agencies to have the festivals and the fireworks and the things that they parades and things that they want to do for their community, but they're short of manpower as well. We're out there serving the people, making sure those things are happening so that all of Wayne County who want to participate in those kind of things are getting it done.
But you know what? Oh, listen, I am so happy about what's happening in Detroit. We had all kind of stuff, the 4th of July, etc. But I looked at what happened in Chicago. 11 people got murdered. That's all I can say over 4th of July weekend. We didn't have that here in Detroit. And you know, here we are. We got the Ombudsman Bruce Simpson, and you out in the community. And here we are. We got the fireworks. We got the NFL draft.
Yes.
We had all kind of stuff.
Train station concert.
Yes.
What that says is that if you are thinking about coming to the city of Detroit, you're looking at this as a destination to potentially move, you should come.
Yes.
We didn't just have the NFL draft. We set the record, 750,000 plus without incident.
Yes.
We followed that up with the Grand Prix. We followed that up with the train station. And so the momentum is here. Downtown, our city is vibrant and it's safe, safer than it has been historically. And that's something that we should be proud of. That does not mean that we don't have work to do, but it also means that our trajectory is going in the right direction.
What are people coming to you about and complaining these days? What are their concerns?
Blight is still an issue as much as we tried to tackle it. You know, the city of Detroit is 139 square miles, and we don't have the population we used to have. So you're always going to run into the issue of blight, whether it be high grass and weeds, abandoned structures. That's something that we're working on right now. Over the last decade, we've demolished a lot of properties, but we actually have one of the most beautiful housing stocks in the nation. Anyone who travels, I think, can attest to that. When you look at our housing stock, and so right now, we're trying to focus on preserving some of those houses.
So, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
So, how do you be a partner with the Detroit Police Department, Michigan State, etc.?
Yes.
So, how do Wayne County Sheriff play into all of this?
So we play into it, and I'm going to tell you another part of that, but we play into it because we all understand in law enforcement. We're strong together. We can only get these things done when we work together. What I do as the sheriff, and what I do with various municipalities and police departments throughout Wayne County is I go out and I deputize some of those in Livonia, deputize those in Detroit, police officers, certain amount of them, in various other cities, because what that does is allow them to do their work where they work, but it takes them out of the city of Detroit. It takes them out of following crime that happened in their area, out of Livonia, going into other municipalities. They're deputized now through me, the Wayne County Sheriff, to be able to track that crime, go out of Livonia, of Detroit, of Taylor, of different places, and be able to follow it and get it done so it doesn't come back into their city and keep doing the same thing. I'm the only one that can do that, and I gladly do it because we're stronger together. We have to do it. And the citizens of Livonia and the other places, Dearborn, the place where I deputize, these police officers will be able to do that. They love it.
Why should I vote for you as the sheriff? Why should? What's your case?
So
What's your case?
you should vote for me.
Why should I vote for Ray?
Because experience matters. Experience in law enforcement and leadership matters. When you're talking about leading the second largest city, municipality, police department, law enforcement agency in the state of Michigan, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. This is not for somebody that just says, "Oh, I think I want to do that job." You have to have done this job.
Ray,
in leadership.
Ray, what are you doing better than any other sheriff has done, or equally?
I don't know if it's the veterans and equally possibly. It's what I'm doing is making sure I'm accessible to the public. That is huge when you're talking about the public having confidence in the faith.
And what does that mean, accessible?
That means I get my phone number out. That means that you call the sheriff, not my assistant. You call me if you need something and something's going on and you think I can help you. You don't have to go through 3 different people to talk to me. Call me direct. I don't think you can be a public servant and not be accessible to the public.
Right.
And when I talk about being accessible, I'm talking about really being accessible. When my phone rings, a few times that it rings, and I'm trying to have movie night with my wife, I say, you got to put it on hold, please. Somebody needs me.
What does your wife say?
She says, I'll put it on hold. She's prior law enforcement.
Yeah.
She's done this.
Okay.
She understands that it's about the community.
Right.
When we raise our hand and say we promise to protect and serve and do all the other things that the community expects and needs us to do, you got to mean that. You got to mean that. And I showed that.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is doing that, but I know who is.
How are you working, your office working with law enforcement in the city and the county?
Oh, listen. So the sheriff is very present. We see Keith Williams representing the office everywhere we go.
Absolutely.
And certainly we work with DPD, whether you're talking about a citywide enforcement on abandoned vehicles, right? The administration has decided that we're no longer going to tolerate the vehicles that have been left in the driveway for years or in front of the houses for years and aren't properly tagged. And so any of those complaints, any of those issues, that require our MPO's presence. We work with them as well as our neighborhood police officers. So in many different ways, we try to tag team crime and different issues throughout the community.
Well, Allan, week.
My week? What do I say? What's going on?
Yes.
Are we doing our gripe of the week?
Yes.
Your week. Yeah. Well, I think it's been an interesting week. I mean, we're all, waiting to see what Joe Biden will do. I mean, it's whether, you can take the keys away from Grandpa, or Grandpa's going to have to decide on his own. Or, I mean, I watched the interview last night.
Why use my shit? We did.
You're in my head. But I'm going to say that. I mean, I watched him last night. I thought he looked really solid, and it's like one of those things.
After about 25 hours of rest.
Well, how do you erase that really horrible performance in the debate? But I don't know. Go ahead.
So let me ask you this, Sharon, before you say something.
Sure.
How do y'all deal with older drivers? When y'all stop somebody and you see that he's 90, 80, 70, whatever, and they shouldn't be driving. How do
I did for Detroit Police Department 24 years, and 14 of those years I was in the motor unit, which means the motorcycle unit, the traffic enforcement unit, where I pulled people over every day for various traffic violations. 14 years. I didn't see a lot of 80 and 90-year-olds out there driving and in the way and causing harm to themselves or others. I just don't. I took the keys from my mother when I thought it was time for me to take them from her.
Right. And I took the keys from my father.
Yeah, and so I didn't see a lot of that. But the other parts of that, we were talking about the Joe Biden. How do you erase that or get past that? You get past that easily. Joe Biden killed the game in the State of the Union. People seem to forget that. Everybody has a bad day. some of that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
But
Everybody
is that a bad
Everybody
day?
does.
You know,
Yeah.
look,
It's a
Obama had a
bad
bad, when he debated Mitt Romney the first time, he had a bad, I was like, what the hell's going on? He should be kicking his ass.
And what happened?
He didn't have a great debate, but Joe Biden, I mean, when you saw that one part where he just started fading off and he then just sort of threw out.
Someone said he had a cold or something. He was
Yeah.
sick or
Yeah. I
something.
mean, he's obviously not in the best.
But we all, here we are, we sit here and we all dealt with grandmothers and mothers and whatever that.
Donald Trump is a grandfather.
And well, we all know he a psycho.
Well, that's the issue. I mean,
He's a
the
fucking
issue is doing
psycho.
whatever you
He's
can
a
to keep
psycho.
Trump out of
He's
the
a
White
psycho.
House.
You know?
But it's like, you know, look, athletes, we see athletes who have, you know, I remember Michael Jordan would have the flu and he would play a
Two
game.
different
And so
things.
do we expect the president at least to
Right.
overcome a cold?
But he ain't
in a
Michael
situation
Jordan.
Michael
like
Jordan,
that?
He
first
ain't
of all, Michael
Michael
Jordan wasn't
He ain't Michael
80 years
Jordan.
old.
He ain't Michael
Well,
You
Jordan.
know, so
He ain't Michael
we're
Jordan.
talking
Well,
different things.
well, what I'm saying is
Let me-
that
let-
can we expect somebody, our president in a crisis to go, you
That's
know,
But
That's why
we
you
have
understand.
never in the history had two presidents that's running to get back in office. That one was 81, one is 78, etc. We go before that when we had Reagan, who had dementia, but his wife covered up, and then we go back to Woodrow Wilson had a stroke.
Mhm.
His wife was basically running it. And then we had William Henry Harrison, who was 69 back in the 1840s. That means he was about 125 at the time. But he died after 30 days. Bruce.
I'm frustrated with the two parties, right? You know, we can look at the candidates, but who gave us these candidates? You can't tell me that those closest to our president didn't know his condition. Yet they allowed the man to go out on the debate stage like that. You can't tell me that the Republican Party should have been able to be stronger to be able to produce someone other than
Donald Trump.
what they have put before us. And so really, unfortunately, and it always seems to happen like this, 350 million, we end up with the lesser of two evils, or what I call
No,
the
this ain't even the
evil.
evil.
It's the evil of two lessers, right? To a certain extent. It is unfortunate that this is what is before us. What do you say to a first-time voter that you're trying to motivate to come out and vote and say, "Hey, look what you have before you"?
Don't vote.
But I think-
That's not what we say.
That's not
what we say.
We have to be very careful, especially as African Americans, when we start talking about not voting. And I think I'm gonna sit this out. Folk died so that you can vote. We can't tell
But these young people don't care who died.
They
No,
care
don't. No,
if
don't.
we talk to them.
They care about
We-
Ice Cube
you
and
know,
Ice Tea and
but
Ice
I'm not
Tea.
giving up on our young people.
I'm
I
just telling
have a 38, 36-year-old son. I talk to them. They're kind of in the young. They're getting a little older now. But listen,
They young.
they in that era. I talk to them. I'm saving them and helping them understand we don't have an option in this one. One of the most important presidential races ever that they'll probably ever seen in their lifetime, that I've ever seen in my lifetime. And sitting, I had a friend of mine, good friend of mine, say to me, "Man, I think I might have to sit this out." I told him, "Don't ever talk to me again. Don't ever talk to me again. You can't sit this out."
We have a
It's just
Supreme Court at 6-3. We saw what they did with the immunity. If Trump gets back in and he gets 2 more appointments, we're going to have like an 8-1 kind of, you know. It's like, or maybe not. I mean, actually, the 2 people most likely to retire are Clarence Thomas and Alito.
You're gonna put in some 30-year-olds.
But here's a chance to rebalance and bring back democracy, where we have these guys handing Donald Trump. You know, look, I'm not worried about the ruling.
We have lived under this, Allan.
Yeah.
We have lived
Well,
under this.
I'm saying I'm not worried about.
We have lived under this before. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna beat up on Allan Lengel from
Bring it on.
Detroit.
Yeah,
We got the sheriff from Wayne County. We got the ombudsman from the city of Detroit. This is Detroit in black and white.
What's on your mind?
What are the issues facing you and your families today?
Before we ask for your vote, Alyssa Slotkin wants to hear about your concerns.
Democrat Alyssa Slotkin is running for U.S. Senate, and she wants to have a real conversation about your issues.
Is it support for our small businesses, funding for our schools, good-paying jobs, or opportunities for our youth?
Alyssa is already building a campaign around listening.
It's how she shapes her agenda in Congress.
And why Alyssa's already been endorsed by small business owners, pastors, and leaders from our community.
We know too many campaigns come to us right before the election and ask for our vote.
That's not Alyssa. She has a reputation for listening and delivering.
And this is your chance to help shape the agenda in Washington.
Make your voice heard. Go to alyssaslotkin.org/community.
Because in this campaign, your ideas come first.
I'm Alyssa Slotkin, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Slotkin for Michigan.
Without Project Clean Slate, there is no telling where I would be right now.
It gave him back his life, because once he got the felony, it seemed like life was over.
Being unemployed, being depressed, being a burden. Project Clean Slate helped wipe those things away. I can't say thank you enough. I am now able to work for a reputable airline. Detroit had my back, all because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric
Eric
Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, welcome back. We're here with the High Sheriff of Nottingham now.
No,
Wayne County.
Yes.
Ray Washington.
Yeah,
How you doing?
so I'm good.
So tell me now, and you said you during the break that if these folks don't vote,
yes,
it's gonna kill
the local politicians, the
Tell me how it's gonna
the
kill.
locals that are here to serve you. I can talk about myself as your Wayne County Sheriff. Those of you who voted for me in 22 overwhelmingly, and now we're here at 24, and we're in a position now to keep it going locally, because all politics here, you got to understand, is local. We have to vote for the president in those, but you got to vote for me because I'm going to be here serving you. If there's a rain on not going to the polls, we all lose. And if I'm not here as your Wayne County Sheriff, I don't know. I can't tell you who's going to serve you because I don't talk about people who say what they want to do. I talk about me, who are a person who's doing the job, and that puts those opportunities for us in danger. You have to go to the polls. I'm asking those who voted for me in 2022 in a special election overwhelmingly to go to the polls, keep me there so I can keep serving you. That's a fact. Anybody who knows me and see me, they know I'm all over this county. I'm everywhere doing the work.
Bruce, what are people saying out in the community? You know, the ombudsman office is doing all kind of stuff.
In terms of the election or just in general? In general, they're happy with the direction that our city is going in. Like I mentioned before, we have a long way to go. I don't want to sugarcoat it. There are people in the neighborhoods that are suffering. We have to continue to focus on them.
When you say suffering, what do you?
Well, whether you're talking about the average income per household, right? People living below the poverty line, people that still require property tax exemptions.
And what can the government? What can the government?
First of all, if you're living below the poverty line and you're on a fixed income, you should be coming to us for an exemption. You should be contacting our board of review. And if you have any issue getting in touch with Mr. Donwell on the board of review, you can certainly contact the ombudsman's office, and we'll help get those persons situated. But we have people that are still financially struggling. The economy outside of Wall Street is rough. Inflation is rough. When you go to the grocery store and you got to pay X amount of dollars for eggs, X amount of dollars for the basics, that takes a toll on the average family. So I don't want to mislead anyone when I say Detroit is doing better. I I want to give us our props, but also acknowledge those that may be struggling. So they're still fighting as it relates to some of the issues we see in the community. But to the sheriff's point, we are every day trying to improve that quality of life. We're very, very, very accessible. Just if I can list just a few ways. Every third Thursday, we have virtual office hours from 1 to 3. If you want to Zoom in, you could physically walk in. We perform physical intake, and you don't need an appointment in room 114 of City Hall. You can always call us, email us. I have satellite hours throughout the city in every district. So we work very, very hard to ensure that whatever the issue is, we're able to address it head on.
Well, Sheriff,
Yes, sir.
how's the campaign going?
So the campaign is going well. We're my team and I are out in Wayne County, and this is a large county, and we're out everywhere in Wayne County, letting the people know, waving the flag that we are here to protect and serve them, to help the various police agencies in the various cities and townships in Wayne County, to let the citizens know that we're here for them. Our campaign is going well. Listen. We out here so much. My staff, they're very concerned. The sheriff, we need you to get some rest. We need you to eat. We need you to get some sleep. I'm out here working, and oftentimes I'm so engaged in that oftentimes I do forget. I need to sit down. I need to get a little rest because I'm about the people. I'm about the people, and if the people need me, I'm going to be there for them.
Okay, how to move to the new jail?
Going real good. Our jail and the whole complex, from what we're told, is going to be open for business to the public right after Labor Day. Day after Labor Day, we're supposed to be going in.
How's it looking?
It's looking wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
You must be excited to go from.
I'm very excited. It's going to go from 100-year-old jail to brand new.
Right.
Absolutely. It's going to be great for our resident population, as well as for our deputies and our civilian population. It's going to be a morale booster for all of us. Who doesn't want to be in a brand new anything? When you get a brand new car, you just drive the car around just because you just want to be in a brand new car.
Besides for the inmates, what are the amenities for the corrections or the deputies who are working there?
Well,
amenities.
We just the biggest thing we just did.
I don't know if there's a good cafeteria.
No.
Ain't no amenities in the jail.
The biggest amenity is that our deputies that just recently received probably one of the largest raises they ever had in the history of the
Oh, what percentage of?
I think it was like more like a 7% or something like that.
You hired new.
Yeah.
What's the pay rate for a deputy?
So when you're coming in at a $50,000 rate. 18 years old, that's got to be decent money.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you to work a little overtime because I told you all, everybody's short in law enforcement. We're trying to get our numbers up. So you're going to work a little overtime for 18, 25-year-old, 30-year-old making $65,000 plus their first year on the job. That's got you getting ready to get out of your parents' house. You're getting ready to go get your own car. You're getting ready to stop asking your people for money because we're offering career
What are the
jobs.
qualifications?
18 years old, minimum, GED or high school diploma, minimum law enforcement contact, negative contact, and you're on your way.
What does that mean, minimum?
That means you haven't been arrested for a felony.
Okay.
You haven't been, those things like that.
If I got caught with marijuana at 18, 19,
we can get through that.
Okay.
We can get through that.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have to take a test before you come into our agency. And so,
do you take a test afterwards?
Oh yeah, we do random testing. Absolutely.
Okay.
So it's important to know that it's going to be a very nice place to be. I talked to my resident population and explain to them where we're going and how nice it's going to be. I tell them, it's going to be so nice. I don't want you to think you're going to stay there. It's going to be nice. I want you in and out.
What are you going to do with the old jails?
All of that is Dan Gilbert, from what I'm told.
It's his
Everything,
property.
yes.
So he'll develop.
And what he gonna do with it?
I don't know.
How many
condos?
How many condos they gonna have here?
Look, we see right down here. We got apartments right over at Honeybee
Well,
Market.
that's another show because I don't think they got all the people that can come here.
I was just driving here down Trumbull and in Woodbridge. They've got some new condos.
Condos going up
I
everywhere.
think they're going for $300,000. But I look at it and say, okay, Woodbridge is a nice neighborhood, but it's right on the edge of Grand River there.
You're gonna pay $300,000?
$300,000. What do you got? You got Norm's liquor store, you got the dollar
Right.
store across the street, and you got the casino.
I asked
Who
the
wants to
developer.
walk around at night?
I asked
you know?
the developer about that. I
Yeah.
said, all of these big condos going up $300,000. I said, I don't want that. I don't want that for me. I want, you know, the man, you know what he said? He said, can I tell you something? I don't want to offend you. I said, no, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say. He said, how old are you? At that time, I must have been about 55, 60 or so. He said, we're not building these for you. The young people love this stuff.
So,
And they're coming and they're buying them.
So-
And they're not looking for a grocery store, a Rite Aid, like I need a Rite Aid down the street.
Right.
So they looking for that.
So here's
Go ahead.
the challenge. Development is everywhere. You guys just said it collectively. Buildings popping up, condos popping up, and those are young folks that are filling those condos and those apartments, etc.
Yeah.
Here's the challenge we have as a city.
No schools.
When that young couple that recently graduated from Michigan State and they've lived downtown
Why I
for
gotta
5
be
years.
Michigan State?
Where Michigan? I know you
Yeah,
a man.
yeah,
I need to
yeah.
have-
Why couldn't it be Bowling
my,
Green?
my mother
Why
went to
couldn't
U of
it
L.
be?
Could
Why
be
couldn't it
UFL.
be?
Listen, when that couple that recently graduated from whatever university they attended,
There you go. Wayne State.
when they get ready to raise a family,
Mhm.
and they have to start looking at the school system,
Right.
they have to start looking at crime, they have to start looking at the insurance rate, and they have to start looking at some of these things. Are we positioning ourselves to retain them as a resident, or do they leave us? That's the challenge we
They're
have.
gonna be Section 8.
We can fill up the condos.
They're gonna be
But
Section 8.
I prefer to fill up these households.
They're gonna be Section 8.
I love what you're
Right
saying.
now,
They're gonna be
we
Section
have,
8.
I think the number is 633,000 people.
Yeah.
That's
You
not
know
enough.
it's more
We
than that. You know it's
Sure,
more than
sure,
that.
sure,
You know
sure.
it's
It's
more
more,
than
but I'm talking about what they got on the books,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This city is equipped, and the development is there and is right for more residents, and we need it to increase the tax base
We
to
do.
provide the services that our
We
residents
got to keep the
require.
young people here. You're absolutely right. My son left after 2010.
Where did he go?
Graduated from. He went to LA. They called him. Apple. He had a chance to be at Apple or Microsoft. He chose Apple. He went up there and worked there up in the.
Where is he at now?
He's in LA right now, building. Him and his wife. She works for Netflix. Young lady was come from California, building their $2 million home. I said, son, come back home. Come back home.
Put
That
him
kind
at-
of money.
put-
You
He's
good. here.
not putting a deputy.
He said, no.
uniform.
I said, come back home. He says, Dad, 36 years old. Dad, I'm a Southern California guy. I'll come back to see y'all, but I'm here.
Okay,
We lost him. And we're losing young people like that.
Well, when
we
you
know-
get
and
a
we
job
know-
like that,
Huh?
you get a job like that and no winners, you know.
Yeah, but I wanted them to stay here.
There-
We got to keep our young people.
We know you got to go.
Mhm.
You got the last word on this segment. So you go. So tell us.
So August 6th, we have an election, a re-election. I tell people all the time, I'm your elected sheriff. There's no reason for you to be out and having to think that you need to look for a sheriff. I'm telling you who I am. 42 years in law enforcement, experience matters, leadership in law enforcement over 25 years. I'm not figuring out how to serve and protect and take care of people. I've been doing it all of my adult life. I started my law enforcement career in 1978, actually, as a military police officer with the Michigan National Guard, while I was waiting to become a Detroit police officer. And I started with the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in 83 to 85. Detroit Police called me. I did that for 24 years. I went back to the sheriff's office when Big Napoleon was appointed sheriff and asked me to retire from the Detroit Police Department and come walk in the door with him the next day. My point is, I've been doing law enforcement, taking care of the citizens of Wayne County every day since 1978. I'm not trying to figure this out. I'm not trying to guess on how to serve you, how to protect you, how to lead people. I've been doing it. And that's why you can't roll the dice on your safety and law enforcement. You got to go with what you know. And the people voted for me. I got work to do. I continue to have work to do because I said when I came in, I want to get our population up to where it should be. Our deputies, when people left law enforcement and roles because they were offered incentives to leave. Now we got to get them back, and we got to let our young people know that it's still a noble profession. Who wants to live in a lawless society? I'm out here doing the work. You want to vote for me because I'm out here doing the work, not for a title, not for any of that, because I raised my hand. The only reason I raised my hand and said I want to drive that scout car up and down the street and take care of Mr. and Mrs. Brown. That's a fact, and I've done it. I didn't quit doing this to go in the private sector and make real money. It wasn't about the money for me, and it's still not about the money for me. You're not going to be a millionaire in government law enforcement work, but I'm rich because I take care of people every single day, and that's all I want to do. And people know that who know me.
Okay, you got the last word. Sheriff Raphael Washington,
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank
we
you.
got to have you back. Good luck.
I want to come back.
And we're going to take a break, and we're going to continue the conversation with Bruce Simpson, Ombudsman, Allan Lengel.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Sheriff.
much. Thank you so much.
Thanks
You're not
a
looking
lot.
for a sheriff. You got a sheriff.
Thank
Wayne County Sheriff. That's right.
Fellas, I'm new in town, and I've been here a couple times. I absolutely love your place, man. But I've got to ask you, if you can, I've heard that you're going to be shutting this place down.
I'm not proud of it, brother, but we're behind our property taxes. The county is all over us, man. I'm even afraid to even give them a call.
Well, we can't let it go, brother. I mean, we can't give up. There's got to be a GoFundMe campaign that we can run, even pass the plate. Is there a forgiveness program or something that's out there?
Well, unfortunately, that's only for the big guys. No, actually, Wayne County has payment plans for everyone.
Are you for real?
Yes, it's a well-designed program. We want to help you save your business.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. If you have delinquent taxes on your home or business, contact our office, 313-224-5990, or visit our website, treasurer.waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Got it.
Because I live in Detroit, I was able to get tuition-free college through the Detroit Promise. I feel very fortunate working with the Detroit Promise. They were able to afford me so many opportunities. I'm currently studying media production and journalism at University of Michigan Dearborn. I'm looking to take my talents further into the production industry, short films. I love working with people here, and this is where I want to be. And that's why I'm Detroit for life.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri.
Yeah. Okay, are we back? Are we done? We're back. All right, we are back. We've got Bruce Simpson, the ombudsman for the city of Detroit. Bruce, it's a 10-year appointment. Is that? In how many years are you? Where are you on that?
8.5 in.
8.5. So you're
winding it down.
Yeah. What do you think about what your next step might be, or?
Oh, of course. I don't like to leave anything to chance. I'm, in the world that we operate in government and politics, a lot of what comes next depends on what's available to you, right? You don't necessarily get to dictate it.
It done went fast, hasn't it?
But who knows? Who knows the government better than you?
I swear.
Listen, it does go fast.
You think about city council, or?
No, I haven't given that a thought.
Okay.
If I have thought about any particular office, I would not be announcing it on the
podcast. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So you know what? The ombudsman office, you know what? A lot of folks say, what is the ombudsman? And Sweden invented this, right? Whatever. But we have had some hell of an ombudsman here. Let's talk about some of them that came before you.
So the Ombudsman's office came in with the late Honorable Coleman Alexander Young and Nat Charter, right? In 74. And so first Ombudsman was Forrest Green, correct. Also the father of former U.S. Attorney and Deputy Mayor Saul Green.
And he tried to get rid of the ombudsman.
No, but listen, here you go.
He tried.
Unfortunately,
he sent him to law school, and I like Saul.
Unfortunately,
he wanted to put that in the budget.
Here you go. It wasn't Saul. I like Saul. That was the mayor that he worked for, who I won't even mention.
Okay, go.
But from there you have Marie Farrell Donaldson, first black female CPA in the state of Michigan,
and she was the Auditor General too.
First black female CPA in the state of Michigan for all you young ladies that aspired to go into that field, and yet she was the Auditor General as well. She is the reason why you can't do both right? They had to pass the resolution. She was a dynamic woman. From there, you have John Eddings. His contribution to the office was he was a personnel guy, but his contribution was establishing an independent legal counsel for us. The interests of the city of Detroit and my interests legally sometimes will be at conflict, right? And so we are now afforded independent legal counsel because of him. Doreen Brown, who was my predecessor and helped train me in so many respects, was dynamic, fierce, fearless. She did not care about offending the powers that be. And then I'm the fifth ombudsman.
So I hate to be ignorant here, but our next guest is on too. Should we bring her on?
Oh, well, we're going to bring on it because you know what, Donna Dingus, how you doing?
Hi, how are you, Adolph? Good morning, everyone.
Well, you know, tell us, we got the ombudsman here because he gets a lot of complaints to his office, and you had a big complaint a couple of years ago. Tell us about what happened with you and your family over in Grosse Pointe.
Well, at the time I was living in Grosse Pointe Park. I now reside in Grosse Pointe Woods. In 2021, my family and I were targets of a white supremacist neighbor who put up a Ku Klux Klan flag in his window facing our home to intimidate and terrorize us. Unfortunately, the way that the Michigan ethnic intimidation law is written, Prosecutor Worthy was not able to prosecute our neighbor. He ultimately took the flag down, but he put the flag there. The police department encouraged him to take it down. He threatened to put it back up because we put security cameras on our property. Well, let me set it up a little bit. In 2021, in January, my ex-husband went outside to put something in the recycling bin and found a full container of gasoline in our recycling bin. I called the police. They came out and they asked me how I got there. I told them I had no idea. And they encouraged me to put security cameras on my property to catch whoever put it there, or if somebody came back to put some more gasoline there or do something worse. We put security cameras on the side of our house, facing a common walk between our house and our neighbor's house. And his response to the security cameras was to put up this Ku Klux Klan flag. As I said, the prosecutor was not able to prosecute him. So myself and my friend Bridget Maxey took up the charge to change Michigan's ethnic intimidation law and create a hate crimes law to protect Michigan citizens from hate-based crimes and ethnic intimidation. And so that's what we've been working on for the last 3 years.
Where is that at right now? Where at what stage in the legislation and all that?
So the legislation initially started in the House, and there were some rewrites. As you know, people who are familiar with legislation understand that that's going to happen. And then Senator Sylvia Santana from Detroit took up the charge and helped us rewrote some of the legislation and introduced it as Senate Bill 600 and 601. Our legislation has passed the Senate, and now it's headed back to the House, and we've run into a few snags because, as you all know, sometimes in politics, people aren't brave enough to do the stuff that they know that they should do, even when it's the right thing.
So what are the snags? Who's roadblocking? Is it Republicans or Democrats?
Well, we know that the Republicans are not going to support this legislation. When it was in the House initially, we did have a little bit of bipartisan support, but Republicans did not support this legislation.
Why would the Republicans not support anti-hate? What's the problem?
Well, you would have to ask the Republicans.
How can you be no, I'm pro-hate. Why would I be anti-hate? I mean, what do they say to you about that?
Well, when I went up to testify before the Senate about the legislation, former Secretary of State and now sitting Senator Ruth Johnson, she asked the question when I, kind of lay the foundation as I did with you all about the gasoline being found on my property. And she said, well, why would you think that that's a threat? Because you found gasoline in your recycle bin. Why would you think that's a threat? Why is that a threat? And so I had to, and so I said to her, respectfully, Senator, if you found, you would have to possess the cultural competency to understand a Black person finding gasoline on their property that they did not place there. The Ku Klux Klan used gasoline to burn churches. They used gasoline to burn homes, to burn Black bodies. And so someone who does not understand the significance of something like that, how do you explain that to them? And, when I said that, her eyes, became wider. And I said, if someone brings you move into a new neighborhood and somebody brings you a tin of cookies or they bring you a cake, that's to welcome you. If somebody brings you gasoline, they're not welcoming you. And then she understood.
Well,
so I think
that right from the beginning. Let me ask you this, Bruce.
Yeah.
As an ombudsman, do you get those kind of calls to the office about folks don't like their neighbors or whatever?
Oh yeah, we listen. I won't go into detail because we don't want to, divulge the details of a complainant or a complaint. But we deal with neighbor disputes all the time, whether it's an illegally erected fence, whether the resident of a home feels as though the space in front of their home is designated just for them. We've seen all sorts of things. We've seen people break glass so that no one parks in that particular spot, right? Neighbors, I just dealt with the call earlier in the week where there's loud music playing all throughout the day, where a floodlight is pointed towards a particular neighbor's house, as opposed to trying to use it for what it's intended for in terms of security, right? All things to harass.
And they're just harassing.
Yeah.
And is it all just really on a personal basis, or is it sometimes racial or ethnic?
Well, we know in the case of
she lived in Grosse Pointe Park.
Well,
it's a little bit different
you got a question, Jim?
I had a question. It's not related to the
Go ahead.
Actually.
But let me just ask me, is there ever ethnic or racially, or is it all more personal?
Usually it's personal. Whether the person is Black or white, you just have two individuals that don't like each other.
Donna, was it personal or was it he didn't like the makeup of your family?
No, it certainly was not personal. Even after the police came out to investigate, our neighbor said, we never had a beef with this person. And but she put security cameras on her property, and we felt like the security cameras were infringing on our privacy and looking into our home. And the police said, well, why didn't you put up curtains? And they said that they couldn't afford curtains. But the Klan flag was not put in the way of the camera. The Klan flag was at the top of the window, and our camera was sitting on the windowsill. And so this was not a simple dispute between neighbors who did not like each other. When you don't, when you have a dispute with a neighbor, you go over and knock on a door and say, hey, your camera, I think this camera may be infringing on my privacy. You don't erect a symbol of hatred to address a simple neighbor dispute. So this was not that. This was an act of intimidation. I'm sorry?
And you don't take a whole gallon of gasoline and put it in somebody's yard where you can throw it. Go ahead, ask your question.
Exactly.
Well, these acts are obviously intimidation and should be prosecuted in a court of law, right? But it's
absolutely
legislate hate under the First Amendment. I'd like to know a little bit about your battle with that.
Well, there is no battle there. We're not looking to legislate hate. What we're looking to do is to ensure that people are not targeted because of who they are, or because of where they live, or who they love. The way that our legislation is written, it certainly passes the First Amendment sniff test, because it's already passed, the Senate, right? And it initially, the first draft passed the House. And we had Ron Lipscomb, who was a partner at Miller Canfield. He crafted the legislation for us. So we had First Amendment experts at the table. The ACLU signed off on this legislation, so there certainly were no First Amendment issues. So it's not about.
There's also the federal law. We have anti-hate crime laws federally. Have you been able to use any of that law to bolster your law, or?
Well, we are currently, I'm not, and I can't talk a lot about it, but we currently have a lawsuit against our neighbors in a federal lawsuit, a civil rights lawsuit, my daughter and I, against our former neighbor for violation of our civil rights. That you can look up the case. I'm not going to go, get too much in the weeds of it.
Can I answer
Pardon?
this question?
Yes.
You don't have to answer. Listen, you in the conversation we had, you say ex-husband. Did this cause you and your husband to split this situation?
Oh no. We were already divorced. Adolph knows my family well. No, we still live in the same house, Adolph. so no,
no new era divorces, huh?
Yeah, yes, we can have a reality show. We all still live in the same house, but no, it was not that. No, that didn't cause it. No,
I had to ask that question.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna wrap it up with Donna Dangus. Hey, you know what? I'm so happy that you can come on, and we'll continue the conversation. Detroit in black and white.
Without Project Clean Slate, there is no telling where I would be right now.
It gave him back his life, because once he got the felony, it seemed like life was over.
Being unemployed, being depressed, being a burden. Project Clean Slate helped wipe those things away. I can't say thank you enough. I am now able to work for a reputable airline. Detroit had my back, all because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabria, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, welcome back to Detroit in black and white. Allan Lengel from Deadline Detroit. We got the great ombudsman, the fifth ombudsman for the city of Detroit, Bruce Simpson.
50 years of service is what that represents.
There's no question. And the former police chief from Trenton, Michigan, Jim Nardone. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing fine.
And we got she's a feisty young lady. I've been knowing her forever and ever and ever and ever. Donna Dangus. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Adolph. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a little feisty. I mean, we know Detroit didn't raise any punks, right?
Ain't nothing wrong with being feisty, young lady.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
You've been opinionated. Now you got the last word in this segment. Tell us what you want to happen with this law and as you move forward to deal with this bullshit that you had to deal with in Grosse Pointe Park.
Well, we ended up subsequently moving to Grosse Pointe Woods, but we want this legislation to be passed because we believe very, very strongly that everyone in the state of Michigan, every living, breathing person in the state of Michigan deserves to live their lives free from hatred and intimidation, including ethnic intimidation. Nobody should be subjected to that. So we want this legislation passed. It's passed the Senate Bill 600 and 601. Thanks to Senator Sylvia Santana, leading the charge on this. We need the House to go to work and get this legislation passed. We have the majority in the House. Get it done, people. We need them to get it done. We have the support of the Speaker of the House. We have the support of Speaker Tate. We need the House to get this done.
Let me ask you this: in Grosse Pointe Park, could there not, at minimum, while you're still working on this, be an ordinance that's saying anything deemed offensive or ethnically or racially offensive needs to come down from public? I mean, could the city have not said this is a violation of an ordinance? That flag is obviously intimidating. It's like,
no. And then you got to get the Grosse Pointe News, which is a fucking racist piece of brand that the guy bought it, and
Sean Cotton.
He used it to run Darcy McConnell off the
City council. City council. She was on the city council.
There's no question about it. So yeah. So anyway, we're gonna have to have you back on, Jadonna.
I love to come back.
And keep us posted. You know. So you had a store over in Ferndale. What's happening with that?
So we ended up closing the brick and mortar, and we're going online. I'm building a website as we speak. You know me, Adolph. You know I'm a hustler. So
you know, my wife was like, where you at? Where?
I know. Tell us, we're building a website, but I'm still doing my Facebook Lives on Wednesday at 8:00. And so we're very much still in business, but we're just pivoting a little bit because the rent. And look, we can do a whole segment on these rents in these cities, how expensive it is. The commercial rents are, and these landlords. We could do a whole segment on that. Trust me. But yeah, so we're very much still in business. Facebook Live on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and we're building our website. Margo and Max. It's Margo and Max. It's MARGAUX and Max. MAX.
How they get a hold of you?
They can reach out to us. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. And they can call the old-fashioned way, 313-570-9682.
Okay, Jadonna Dingus.
Thanks so much. Good luck. Keep up the fight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
And thank you. And we're going to go right to Bruce Simpson. Your final thoughts.
Final thoughts are that, number one, your ombudsman is here for you. If you need assistance, that's 313-224-6000. I want all of our residents to know that if you have an abandoned, open or trespass structure in your neighborhood, we need you to report that. We want to secure that property. We're moving away from the plywood that we used to use. We're now moving towards plastic, which is more secure. You can call 313-224-4737 for that. And reach out to us if you need.
We have somebody right here, Timothy Square Bay, who says there's an abandoned car on Oakfield and Florence on Detroit's west side.
All right, we'll take a look at it.
All right.
Get it to DPD.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, but the point is, look, I've been doing this for 17 years. Proud of the work that we've done thus far. No matter what my next capacity is, it will be something that'll allow me to serve the people.
Bruce Simpson for president.
No, we're not doing that. But again, seriously, it will be something that allow me to serve the people. I'm happy to do it. I think it's much needed. We have a long way to go in the city of Detroit, but we're doing pretty good.
It's in your DNA is public service.
Yeah. Grandma was
generational.
Grandma was a first Black female congresswoman.
Tell everyone who your grandma is.
The late Honorable Barbara Rose Collins.
Barbara Rose, I was her district manager. Barbara Rose, that was my girl.
Yeah.
We had and she was like, listen, she was like my mother. Love-hate relationship. You know, get mad at her. And you don't like women. I say, listen, my mother was like a drill instructor. You know what? Yeah, look, she
cut you on a minute.
One of the smartest people in the world, and there's no question she knew how to play the game. There's no question.
Yep.
And I want to say this: when you were just a little boy,
here we go.
Pistons, the bad boy. You know, she came home from DC, said we got to go up to the palace. And they had all the Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, the bad boys, and they had little Bruce coming out there. He was like,
yeah. I got a chance to meet all the guys. I got the pictures.
You still got those pictures. Thanks, Bruce, for coming on. I'm
What
gonna have to
a
come back,
great
man.
team.
We had you on all the time, man.
Listen,
you ghost us, man.
I go.
You did a Bill Cosby, that ghost movie, man.
Don't. Why Bill Cosby? A ball people you compare.
Right. That's somebody.
Ghost Daddy or whatever. You know. Anyway, Jim, your final thought.
So I'm fortunate enough to be sitting across from Eric Brown this morning, who's an advocate a warrior for literacy and young people. And I'm just going to go this direction. If we had more people like Eric Brown out there, we might not be in the situation we are in the presidential election, right? We have adults. It's not just kids, it's adults. We have people out there that have no idea what's going on. They listen to the propaganda and they believe the propaganda. We have to change the way we operate, right? I challenge people, get rid of the propaganda. Let's talk about the real facts. You may not like the Supreme Court decision. You may not like the 1994 crime bill. You may not like anything. You got to learn about it, right? We had a lady out in Newport Beach, a 68-year-old lady that was sadly from New Zealand, killed. Did you guys hear this story?
No.
A family. He was a banker or some kind of financial guy, banker. They came to visit California. This couple, two guys, four young men, two of them had been convicted in the last 12 months. One of carrying a gun, the other one of robbery. Last year in 2023, they're out on the streets, right? And they killed this lady. They tried to shoot her, and they weren't very good with the guns. So they dragged her out on the street and ran her over with a Toyota, dead, all right? So we need to learn about what's going on in the world. People need to pay attention. And talking about Eric, teaching people.
Okay, Allan.
I think this next week is going to be an interesting week for. I mean,
got to go, right?
Biden's fighting for his life.
Got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good for him to go, but like I say, he wants to be the one to decide.
As Caligula used to say, he
doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be pressured. He wants to be the one to decide,
and he's going to decide. Well,
we'll see in this coming week. And also a development in the Middle East is that hopefully they've been the most optimistic on both sides of Hamas and Israel finally reaching a peace agreement, which would then, Hezbollah has said, if you reach a peace agreement with Hamas, we will stop firing, which is another.
And Netanyahu need to go too.
Netanyahu is a dangerous. Him and his cabinet members. You got a guy Smotrich and Ben Gvir who are horrible and threatening him. If he makes peace, they're going to leave the coalition and his government's going to collapse. It's like, fuck you guys, man. It's like 8 months of fucking war there. It has to stop.
And my final thought, where's James Clyden? He propped up Grandpa when Grandpa was losing all the primaries.
He turned it around.
And he took him to South Carolina, and he gave him a lifeline.
Yeah.
Now he can do the right thing. And when we talked about taking the keys, everybody had that moment with grandmothers and mothers and people that was ill and all that, and you had to say, give me the keys. You can't drive. Your eyesight is not the way it used to be. Your memory is not the way it was. And that's we can't get upset because we get old. But if we let this happen, and the Democrats let this happen, they knew that Biden done a pretty good job as president. But as we continue to go down this road, he done got.
Who would you like to see as a replacement? What would be your
you know what? Got to go with the vice president. There's no question.
And then who else?
Well, but you know what? Those are the Democrats just screwed up. They need to have a real game plan and say, this is who we got. None of them wanted to step up.
I probably should have had a primary.
I say,
they should have left. They should have left the barbecue dog eater in there. That was.
They did have a primary. The problem was nobody else.
That's Robert Kennedy.
No.
Except for one.
No. They didn't have. You say that's. I would push back just a little bit and say that was very disingenuous. The Democratic Party, with the President of the United States being the head of that party, made it painfully clear to any other Democrats that if you even thought about running, you would not be supported by the DNC. There was no support coming from the party. That's how it works. But when you have someone that has lost,
But Bruce, we look back in '68 where we had Democrats that tell Lyndon Johnson did more for civil rights than anybody. But when it came to the Vietnam War, he fucked up. Listen, social service, whatever. Listen, they gave away free land back in the 1860s and 70s to people. So that the social service has always been there. But the bottom line is we had Democrats that stood up and say, enough, Bobby Kennedy, McGovern, McCarthy, all these people say, you got to go. And you know what? He said, okay, but where he fucked up at, he put his boy in there, Hubert Humphrey, who basically was a clone of him, and they got their ass beat.
Well, it would have been Bobby Kennedy. It would have been.
Not really.
I think RFK.
Not really.
Well, let's talk about it right now. I think the ombudsman is absolutely right. What we did, what the Democratic Party did, was eliminate everybody else from contention. So on the Republican side, I have Nikki Haley. At least she made a stand. If Trump was to go to jail, Nikki Haley would probably be the candidate.
But Nikki Haley, no, Nikki Haley ain't gonna be the candidate.
I agree.
Because they not gonna let Nikki Haley be.
Look, when you have an incumbent president who says, I want to run, I'm saying with Biden, it's hard for the party to say, screw you, we're not going to support you.
Unless you know the condition of said individual.
But that's backroom stuff where you go to the president and you say,
But they've been doing it. Allan Lincoln got rid of his popular vice president, Hannibal Hamlin, and say you got to go because we're gonna get this drunk and this white supremacist. We're gonna make a unity ticket. We put him on there. He didn't know he was gonna get assassinated, but they changed up in midstream. They changed. Listen, if Biden come and address the nation and say, you know what? Okay, time for me to move aside. You know, Democrats got their hand. But if he stay in there, he's gonna take everybody down.
So you're saying their odds increase. That was my next question. The odds increase with Joe Biden stepping down.
Yes. Grandpa got to go. Would you get in a car? Would you get in it? You wouldn't even get in a electric car, a self-driving car with him.
I would say probably, but there's no
guarantees.
Look, this is my pick would be. I mean, Kamala Harris and Governor Bashir out of Kentucky. He's a Democratic governor in a Republican state. He's popular, in both parties. He's a solid, governor. I think you have to, and plus it potentially Kentucky.
The key to all this is James Clyburn is he got to do a John Lewis. John Lewis told Hillary Clinton, say, I love you, Hillary. He said, but my people in my district saying, we got to go with this guy named Obama. And that was he put the knife.
But he didn't do that at first. I mean,
no, he didn't. And we all know what they're doing. But anyway, we're gonna be back. Not here. We're gonna be over at the David Whitney Hotel next week. We hope you can come over there. Man.
Listen, man, I'll come wherever I'm invited.
Yeah,
is that a formal invite?
That's a formal invite.
All right, well, I'm there.
And he wants to apologize for invoking the name Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Jello.
Oh,
well, anyway,
I got to tell you, Bill Cosby.
He was a real asshole.
He was a bad man. But I never found his albums when I was younger. I found it kind of amusing. I never found him that funny, but he really.
Well, we go. Listen, Bob is telling us. Bob Roberts said, "Y'all got to get the fuck out of here." So we'll see y'all next week. Detroit in black and white. Thank you, Sheriff Ray Washington, Donna Dingus, and Bruce Simpson. from the Ombudsman office. That number again,
313-224-6000.
and we'll see you next week. Jim Nardone, and we want to say our condolences to Chief Hawkins in Trenton.
Yes, he
He
lost his dad
father.
suddenly.
Yeah, his father's name.
And his father,
Patrick.
was he a police?
He was the Parks and Rec director for the three cities downriver, Trenton, Flat Rock, and Allen Park. Very active.
And did you know him well?
I did. I knew him very well. I worked with him as deputy police chief.
No
He was
question.
the director.
And thanks, Teresa, and thanks for
Check
Eric
out
Brown.
our new soundboard. I hopefully the sound is,
Eric is a Sigma, right?
by the way, we're always looking.
Right. You're not a Sigma, Eric?
I'm not a Sigma.
What are you?
We are looking, by the way, for uh-oh.
Okay.
All right.
I just wanted to.
Yeah.
When that's a Kappa?
Kappa. On the side.
Let me say something real quick. We just want the sound. We're experimenting with new sound. We want to improve our audio, so we welcome feedback on how the audio is.
And thanks to the folks that are watching. Did we tell them?
And thank you for all. Y'all didn't have nothing to do today, but listen to the all this shit that we talking, and we appreciate it.
Grateful.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.